Hello, we're trying again. Part two. Part two or take two. Yes, I don't know why the camera went off like that. It was very strange. Very strange indeed. Yes, we're back. Sorry about that, everybody. I have no idea what happened. Something just testing me, I think. Some flowers here. What I have here is just a big batch of the evergreen season left, and so I'm going to use some of that for pieces in my little folio here. I do have, I'm just trying to see what else there is. I've got some nice chipboard tags here. I got all kinds of stuff in here that I can use. That's going to be nice. And, you know, really, there's only four, whoops, that's not what I'm looking for. There's only four rolls being used. So, you know, you can make it bigger if you want. There's no problem with that. But we're going to work with just four rolls. I might do another one later with more. So I also need a piece of paper to do the hinge. So I'm doing the outside of mine with dark brown. And then I'm using the dark green on the insides. So that'll look really nice. I've got a buffalo plaid. Like, I'm looking at some of these pieces and knowing that I will be able to use them, because really you're using 2, 4, 6, 8 pieces, small pieces of paper. We're going to cover the whole thing with cardstock and then go from there. But we're going to get the outside of the album done first. So I've got a piece of paper. I've got my two sides, and I have my hinge right here. So I have cut the paper 1/2 inch on each side bigger than this. And I've taken a 3 3/4 by 12, and I took a 3 3/4 by 6. Now I do use both liquid glue and score tape as well when I'm putting these together. So I'm just going to glue those two pieces together, and I will have a piece of this showing, like a joint. Not that kind of a joint, that kind of a joint. Sorry, couldn't resist. And then we're going to put these pieces down here. Now I've got a lot of excess on the ends. I also couldn't find my book guide, my book cutting guide. Hold on. And too many drawers. This drawer. Too many beads. I can't find it. So it does help me to get my corner angles exactly the way I want them. And scissors. Yeah, I should have tried to clean this up before. You know, that would have been good. The scissors are gone. Okay, so I'm going to put some score tape on these, and I'm going to secure them down. And then we will go from there. 1, 2. Did you all get your toilet rolls ready? I have to change this out. This is done now. It's getting a little, or a lot, scruffy looking. Okay, so I want to get the tape off of these. So are you actually going to make some of these, ladies? You're going to make some up? There, there. So next week I'm going to be using the Tim Holtz group of 3 squares, and I'm going to do a little vignette, a Christmas vignette. I have pulled out all of my Tim Holtz Christmas stuff, as well as what we have in the store, and I'm going to put, somebody had suggested doing some bundles with it, so that you guys can get a little bit of everything, and so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to make up some bundles, and then you guys will have a really good assortment. What do you think? Think you like that? Now, normally I have my book guide, and I don't know where it is. I have been back and forth to Guelph so many times in the last week. So you do want to leave a gap between. Anybody else going to be making some? I see Angela's going to. All right, and then I'm going to put this one again, leaving a little bit of space right there. Okay. Now I do have quite a bit left on this side, so we will trim that off. Oh, Heather, 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 where'd you put your scissors? Aha! I found them. Okay, so I'm going to trim off. Yeah, so the vignette, we're going to, you know, I'll have some pieces ready for this week for you guys to be able to have a pack of stuff that you can work with to do a vignette. And I'll show you my large one. I'll record it and show you my large one that I made. And then I have a smaller one I'm working on. We do have some MDF, which is like that multi-board, at the store. Take a look and see what we have, because those are great for vignettes. I actually took this one out of the store and started this one. So I painted the edges of it and started to add some pieces in, some of the papers, but it's not finished. But the other one I have, I absolutely love it. It's nice and big, and really, really nice. Okay, so what we want to do is, oh yeah, sounds good, Jennifer. Or you know, you could come up and spend the day at the store too. You can always do that. Come up on Saturday for the sale. Okay, we want to cut on an angle like this, your corners, okay? Now, if I had my book guide, it would show you exactly how to trim that, but that's okay. We're just going to use the scissors. This isn't a huge folio. Are any of you interested in doing, oh, you're coming Saturday, super. Looking forward to seeing you. Are any of you interested in doing folios? It would be a separate class. I could do one, you know, a YouTube video for you with, you know, all the products and whatever. I do have a couple lined up, so we will work on those. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking the bone folder and I'm pushing all the edges up. All right, so it's nice and snug against the sides. Like that. Now, you can add score tape on there first. I don't have any 1/4 inch. This is a little wide to put some on. So I am just going to put, for this one, yeah, I don't have any 1/4. Gotta redo my supplies. Oops, I want that vignette back in the corner. Aha! I found another bone folder. Oh my gosh, here's another bone folder. That one's better because it's Teflon. Do you all know the difference between a Teflon bone folder and a plasticky bone folder? The Teflon does not mark up your paper. So if there's, like this is a textured paper. Using the plastic bone folder, it will squish the fibers down and flatten out that paper. Now, I'm going to glue this top side down first. The other thing I do is I run a bead of glue right along the edge here. And then I just filled this up so it's flowing quite nicely. Now, by putting the glue up against the chipboard like that, it's softening that paper, so I will get a really good, hi Gay, night and day difference, you've got that right. So it's softening up the fibers in the paper so that I can fold it nicely. And it's going to give me that nice crisp edge. Now, if you don't like making your own folios, we do have the Create an Album. And, you know, I know a lot of you don't know what they are when you see them in the store, and I try to point them out. When I see somebody, you know, looking to do folios, I try and point it out to them because they are such a good price. This glue isn't wanting to stick. And this is why I like to use both score tape and glue. Why don't I just use score tape? Score tape over time becomes like tissue paper. Oh, Judy, yeah, it's a big difference. Huge, huge difference between the two. Yeah, score tape over time on its own dries. And when it dries, it then becomes tissue paper and comes apart. So your folio that you work so hard on then comes apart. All right, so I've got this edge folded over. And now I'm going to fold the other edge. I'm going to do this end and then we'll do the top section. Fold that over. And once again, I'm going to put a bead of glue along there. And we've got our gaps in there, which we want. And folding my paper. Yeah, the Create an Album is great. Oh, a fly in here. I will do another demo on that. Why is this glue not holding tonight? Try that again. It's taken a long time to dry. And I don't get it. Okay. Oh my goodness. I think this glue may be very old, okay, because I had a gallon of it. And I've had it at least a couple of years. And I'm wondering if it's at the point where it's saying, yeah, you know what, you got your use out of it. I'm right down to the very last bit of it. Okay, so once we've got that done, what you can do, take your bone folder, hold it in those spots to get a good little crease in there, like that. If I move that camera down a bit closer, it being a small, there, that might be better. There we go. Okay, so this is the outside of my album. Now, I've got the seam right here. It doesn't matter. We're going to put paper on the outside. But we do need to finish the inside now. So I am going to use, we need, first off, what we're going to do is we are going to put a strip of paper right across on the inside here to cover that area. So I am going to continue to use the brown, I think, or the green. Which one? I've got a whole piece of brown here, so I can't, still not going to be long enough, but I want a piece cut, say 2 3/4 of an inch high. So let me do that. 2 3/4 of an inch. So that is going to go, actually, that's a little bit big. So I'm going to trim it down just a little bit more. So that was 2 I'm going to do 2 5/8. Let me see. No. Let me do 2 1/2. Oops. Something's gone wonky here. Just bear with me. I'm looking at this crooked. So this piece is 2 1/2, and it's going to fit nicely in there. And then I do need one more little piece here. So I'm going to do that one, 2 1/2. And again, I'm not worried because that's all going to be covered with printed paper. Oh, my nails will not allow me to pick up anything. Get nails, Dan said. They're nice, he said. Well, and for some reason, that is not the same width. Try that again. I mean, especially when it's like you want it to match up so that they're even. Now I'm going to put a little bit of glue to extend this. It's losing its zip. It's losing its something. Zippity doo-dah. I'm going to glue that on there. Come on. I'm going to check my measurement here. I'm a little bit long. Bring that in a bit. So basically, we just want that inside covered so we don't see the raw chipboard. So the first thing I'm going to do, start on this side, and I'm going to put some glue down here. This is the part that takes the longest of the whole thing. I'm telling you. So I'm putting the left side down first. Get that glue spread. I'm finding my little seam and I'm going to push in. Sorry if you can't. You know, when you work with dark colors, it's so hard for you guys to see. So I want to have a good crease in there so that when I open and close, it's going to hold nicely. All right, then I'm going to do that middle section as well. Put some glue in there. A little bit of glue up there. And be careful you don't poke through. But get your paper gently in that crease and just work it in there. Make sure that paper is, yeah, I think I'm going to have to dump that glue out. And then after I've got that done, then I do the last one. If you try to do it all in one motion, you're going to have issues, whoops, with that, a little slap happy there. You're going to have problems with that middle section. Yeah, the Create an Albums are great. And I do have class, I'm trying to finish up using one of the Create an Albums so you guys can really see the different things you can do with it. Like it's endless. Okay, that's our base. Ta-da! You can see right there. Again, that glue doesn't want to stick. And this is art glitter glue. Yeah, see, it's bubbling right in there. And sometimes it has to do with the fold. Okay, so just work it until you know you've got it. Oh my gosh, Heather. Sitting nicely. You may have to work it a couple of times right in these creases because it does want to lift. You know, one way it wants to lift, the other way it doesn't want to stretch enough. So you just have to manipulate it a little bit, and then you've got your base part done. So now what we need to do is the hinge in here. So our hinge, we need four hinges. Each of these hinges, we use an inch of paper. And in between on this particular one, I think I did a 1/2 inch. Let me just see here. 1/2 inch. So to add up how much paper I need a 1/2 inch and 1 inch, a 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1/2 inch. If that makes any sense to you. So if I add that up, I've got a 1/2 and 1 and a 1/2. That's 2. 3. 3 and a 1/2, 4 and a 1/2, 5. And she can't count. So the other thing you can do is just take a long strip of paper and just keep doing 1/2 inches. Sometimes I find that easier than trying to add them up. So we got a 1/2 and a 1/2 there. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. 3 and a 1/2, 4 and a 1/2, 5, 6, 6 and a 1/2 inches really is what I need. And the width of them is going to be, so 6 and a 1/2 inches, and it's going to be 2 5/8 by 6 and a 1/2. Thanks, Carolyn. Are you using the wide glue tip and does it reach the bottom of the black holder where it sits? I can't get mine to reach down far enough. No, mine doesn't touch that rubber stopper at all. I don't think it's supposed to. I don't know. Okay, so I don't know if I've got enough brown to do 6 and a 1/2. This one isn't long enough. So I'm going to take another piece of brown. This paper I'm using is the Artisan cardstock. Got to get an order in with them to bring that paper back in because it's so nice for making folios. So I said I need a piece, 2 5/8. So let me do that first. 2 5/8 by 6 and a 1/2. All right, so there's my 2 5/8. There's my 6 and a 1/2. What I'm going to do, and I will show you this, is I'm now going to score it. No, mine's the narrow one in there, and it doesn't reach. So I'm not sure. So every 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1 and a 1/2, 2, 2 and a 1/2, 3, 3 and a 1/2, 4, 4 and a 1/2, 5, 5 and a 1/2, 6. All right, once you have those scored, just give them a fold back and forth so they're really nice and flexible for you. Now the other thing, we want to be sure that they're going to fit into our toilet paper roll. And you can see mine are going to be too long. So I am going to have to trim a little bit off. I took the measurement using this, but some toilet paper rolls, I have the Costco ones and they are actually bigger. So instead of 2 5/8, I'm going to trim this down to 2 1/2. And I think that should do it for me. Trimmer is catching it though. 2 1/2. Now, if when we're putting them on, if it's still too long, I will show you how we can fix that. Oh, there we go. You know what? My bottle keeps coming out. Oh, it's still not touching it. It's down as far as it goes. It's still not touching it. Every time I put my bottle in, I think I'm a little too overzealous and the bottle pops out. Okay. So once we have that done, you're going to see all of these little pleats. I don't know if any of you have done hinges before. So what I want to do, I'm going to miss this first one. And if you take your fingers and you pinch them together, that's going to be your first hinge. You're missing one, take your fingers, push them together, that's your second hinge. Miss one, take your fingers, push them together, hinge number 3, miss one, fingers together, hinge number 4. So I tell people just pinch them, pinch them, pinch them. So you end up with, you know, it looking like this. You've got valleys and you've got peaks and valleys. Valleys and mountains, whatever you want to call it. I am going to put a piece of score tape in there where I've pinched it. All right. I'm actually putting it between the two because my tape is too long. And then I'm going to put my liquid glue on top of that. And then this one here. Done. Okay. Get your tape on there. And if you don't have a pokey tool yet, these are the ones I make for the store. We do have Grinch ones. Oh, and my Grinch stamps. I placed a new order for our Grinch stamps. She doesn't ship it to my U.S. address. She decides this time she's going to ship it to Woodstock by postal service. I just flipped. I sent her a message and I said, I hope you can get that parcel back because I'm not going to get it in time to do anything with it because Canada Post is on strike. But you know, they would have no idea about that because they don't pay attention to Canadian news. Oh, I hope she does because they spent a lot of money for stuff that I'm not going to have. And I'm waiting for those Grinch. We've got people waiting for those second order of the Grinch stamps. All right, and then the last one. So I have folded it over on all of those spots. Give my glue a second to hold. And then what I'm going to do is so I have this section here. Come on. Grab that tape again. All right, so it kind of looks like this. It wants to fold in on itself. Of course, that last one doesn't want to fold. And I'm going to put, just making sure I'm in the right spots, a little bit of tape across there. And then I'm going to put my glue. So I'm on the back side here, just putting some tape just so I can wiggle it around if I need to. Taking the tape off. I'm going to get to the fun part in about 2 seconds. Okay? So this piece now is going to go right in here. So I'm going to add my liquid glue. And I'm going to stick it down. Try and center it top to bottom, side to side. And those are my hinges. Whoops. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to take my bone folder and really secure this down. So we've got 4 hinges here. So no matter what size album you do, you know, you just cut it the width of, take this and expand it, and that's how you make one of these nice little, you know, start of a folio. And you can have more hinges than this, but we are just doing the 4. Now, I have left a 1/2 inch in between each because they are a little bit bulky, you know, with chipboard and so forth. If you are doing more hinges, then obviously you need a bigger piece here through the center. Okay, so that's our little book. And then these are going to slide on. Now, you see, I'm having still a bit of trouble trying to, well, they'll go on. Let me just see. I think they will all go on. If you have trouble putting them on, I do like to just take my scissors and give a little de-snip. All right. Oh, I don't even know if you guys can see that. See, I've done a little V. We're going to be finished with the dark paper very soon. So I'm going to do that to all of them just because I find that they do slide on a lot better when they've got that little V. And also you don't end up seeing any of that hinge when you slide your toilet paper roll on there. Now, I have seen a lot of toilet paper roll tutorials, but none of them use a hard cover like this. All right, so now they're all going to slide on, and I've got 4 of them. So we will add glue onto these, but first we're going to put our cardstock on them, and then we'll slide them on. It's just going to be easier doing it that way. So my cardstock, I am using the green. And I thought I cut the pieces already. Give me a second. I'll get those green pieces. I did cut them because here they are. So depending on the width of your toilet paper rolls, I have cut mine to be 4.5 inches by 6, and I'm going to completely cover this. So I want to first take it, and I want my crease to be sort of down at the bottom part. So I'm going to fold it over, bone folder, give it a good crease, and then fold the next piece over. So I end up with it covered like this. And for some reason, I mean, these are toilet paper rolls, so they are not going to be, you know, might not be exactly perfectly straight. You can see that it's making my paper go off a bit, so I can trim it. But if your paper is off a little bit on this side, it doesn't matter because it's going to be, that's going on your hinge. But I will trim it a little bit there. And that's going to be the first one. So let me glue that down. And again, I'm going to put a line of glue right where I made the crease, just because it'll soften that paper for me. You guys still with me? I'm going to place that back in there. Bring that edge up. And fold that over so it's nice and tight. Okay. Okay. Now, I can't see any comments. Can someone comment? I think my comments are acting up, or you guys are asleep. One of the two. Okay. So, that one is complete. Now here, as I said, it could have used even a little bit more of a trim on the paper. So I'm just going to take my scissors, trim that edge down. All right. Oh, thanks, Carolyn. So you guys are just sleeping. That's all. Okay, number 2. So we do this to all 4. And then, you know, really, it's so simple after that. All you're doing is decorating. Now I will tell you, before you add paper to the front, you want to put your ribbon on there. So you see, now this piece is almost a little bit short. And my paper, you know, my paper was cut evenly. But it wants to show there. So I just want to be sure that the good edge is where the end is coming out. I'm not so worried about this edge here because that's going to be where the hinge is. Thanks, ladies. Oh, working along with me. Okay, concentration. Yes. Okay, so again, it's the toilet paper roll and not my paper. So just drives me crazy if I see any of it. And I will have to trim a little bit on the other side. Okay, so let's glue it up. This glue is so hard to work. And I don't think that bottle, will that bottle fit in there? No, that bottle won't fit in there. This is what happens when you've got 20 bottles of glue on the go. I find the Nuvo bottles are so hard to squeeze. Okay. So the edge I want really nice and clean is the edge I'm going to have on the outside, not the edge that's going into the hinge. Whoops, you guys can't see what I'm doing. Really, really, really creasing it well. Bringing that down. Crease, crease, crease. Perfect. There we go. That's 2. Third one, same thing. This one is perfect. Don't have to do any trimming or anything. So again, that's just a sign that it is the toilet paper rolls and not my cutting. Line it back up. Wow, it's already 8:15. That's okay because I'm going to decorate some of the pages, but I'm going to leave you guys to decorate your own. Or we just go over an hour. Who says it has to be an hour? I'm the boss, right? I can make the rules. So last one, fold over. And this one's looking pretty straight as well so far. Yep, very good. Okay, last but not least. You're taking notes? Good, Dale. Good student. Are you all coming to the store on Saturday? Dale, you coming to make the trek to the store? I'm baking goodies. Nanaimo bars are done. Raspberry bars are done. I'm going to be doing snickerdoodle cookies. If I can find my eggnog, then they will be eggnog snickerdoodle cookies. Okay, so there are my 4 pieces to go in to my little album. And now each one of these is going to slide onto here. Yeah, look at my tape knot, or my glue. Just checking to make sure they're all okay. So before I slide them on here, I usually put a little piece of score tape. Oh, thanks, Jennifer. Just to, in case I have to juggle it a little bit, I can do that. I'm just going to tear a few strips onto here. Like that. Use my pokey tool, take that tape off. And now I'm going to put glue on. Now you can see here where it looks so dark. I don't understand. I've got these extra lights. Thanks, Jennifer. Yes, he's already like, where's the stuff you made? I'm like, it's not anywhere you're going to find it, that's for sure. Well, I have nothing? And then he says, did you get any baking done today? And I'm like, no, I had to go to Guelph to the doctor. Which wasn't my plan this morning until I called her and she said, you need to get in here. More blood work, more tests, of course. Because I have something they can't figure out what's wrong with me, which is normal for me. I'm one of those people that don't get anything normal. Okay, so I just held it for a second, let that glue sit. Now you can add strips of paper, which is what I did with this little one, in between if you want, or you can leave them just the color of the hinge. Okay, so I'm going to do my next one. Get that paper off. Like that. Oh shoot. There we go. And I'm going to put that one on. Give it a squeeze, hold it together. While I'm squeezing and holding, I'm going to get the next one ready. Yeah, if you don't do a hard shell on these toilet paper ones, they really do look chintzy and they look like they're toilet paper rolls. You know what I mean? Like they just don't have a nice look to them. Now, you know, if you're making this for a little one for Christmas, to put Christmas pictures in, you know, having the hard shell, they can have it forever. They can carry it around. It's not going to get damaged. It's got that nice hard outer shell just to protect it. And my last one's going on now. And there we go. All 4 pieces are in there. hold it for a second. And this is where you get to decide what kind of paper you want to use. I actually pulled out some Prima paper as well, but I thought, look at how neat that is inside. It's so clean looking and so neat. I just love it. Now, before we put any paper on the outside, of course you want to figure out what papers you want. I mean, I've got this really nice plaid, and I thought a plaid was going to be nice because I want to add some different embellishments, and so I don't want, you know, necessarily like a full print like this. Although all of these papers are gorgeous. I could put the fa la 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 on the outside, but I might use that on the inside. And this is the, you know, there's so many beautiful papers, and this is where it's like, oh shoot, there's only, you know, so many sheets of this I can use. Actually, here's the smaller plaid. What do you think, the plaid or the fa la la? Here's the green fa la la. But I think if I'm going to add some little flowers and so forth on here, maybe this would be better. What do you think? Fa la la or the... Even that's nice. See, Santa won't fit. I'll only get a little piece of him if I put that on the outside. What's on the backs? The plaid. Okay, I'm going to use that plaid. All right, so my outside, I want a piece for here, I want a piece for the back, and I want a piece for this spine. So the measurement on this one, you want a little bit, 1/8 of an inch around. Yeah, the plaid. Okay, we're going to do the plaid. So I'm going to do this 5 1/4, I think, by 2 5/8. So let me do the 2 5/8. 5 1/4, 2 5/8. 5 1/4 and 2 5/8. 2 5/8 and 2 5/8. All right, so this is going to go right on the front like that, and I'm going to use the same on the back. I'm just going to be consistent. Now, we are going to want to put some ribbon in there. And, you know, what kind of ribbon do you want? That's totally up to you. I pulled out all kinds of... I think with this being of red, I may just want a plain ribbon in there. On the outside, anyway. I have another red, but it's too wide. So I think I will use just this ribbon here to tie it. So you want to make sure you've got enough to go around and to tie off. And before I put any of my paper down, I take my score tape that I threw somewhere. There it is. And I run a line of score tape just to hold that in place for me while I'm working. It's going to hold my ribbon for me. You know, you can always take Stays On ink, stamp on your ribbon. I can always crinkle it, add water, make it a crinkly ribbon. But for this one, I'm just going to leave it plain. Now, the other thing you could do, and I did pull it out, is you can put one of the little Tim Holtz domes and do a little shaker on the front. I think that would be adorable as well. I'm going to pull that off. Here's my ribbon. I'm going to find the halfway point stick it down. All right, so it just holds that ribbon nicely in place for me. There we go. And there's my ribbon. There we go. And now I can put these pieces on. So let's do that. Right there, and the other one on this side. Checking my measurements first. Looks good, and I should have been inking this up. And I'm going to put that piece down. And I have so much of this evergreen left over that, you know, I've got some nice choices of what I want to put on to each of these. So I'll make sure that's stuck down well. There we go. Okay. And on here, this piece could do the same thing, but that's going to be pretty boring. Why don't I put, you know, I could put that plaid, or I could put the logs. I think the logs. So what was that measurement here again? This is 2 5/8 by, I'm going to do 2 5/8 by 2 5/8 and see what it looks like. 2 5/8. By 2 5/8. Dan's having a party by himself downstairs tonight. So that's 2 5/8 by 2 5/8. I'm just going to trim a little bit because I don't want it to be catching. And I'm going to put that piece in there. Okay. Oh, you know what? Yes, I was looking at the gingerbread kisses in the store, the Doodlebug, and I thought, oh, I'll do that. And then I thought, no, you know what? I'm going to post this on the 49 and Market page so that people can see this, and then go to my YouTube. I'll get Dan to post it up on the YouTube, and then they can go and make it. That way we're sharing it, and then anybody that's got leftovers from doing the event will be able to use them. All right, so that's my outside. So I did find, you know, I've got some really, really pretty trim that I thought would look really nice, a little piece on there. I've got flowers. I also have like all of these pieces left over that I can build up on the outside of here. Like I can put this doily, because these are the mini pieces, and they're actually just the right size to build up a little vignette on the outside of here with a little piece of this trim. I have to add this trim because it just, I don't know. What do you think? Think it's too much? I kind of like it. There's just something about it. I have some really gorgeous trims. I've got to get them all into the store for you guys so that you guys can buy some. What I may do is do my little vignette first and then come back and see, you know, if I want to add those or not. So I've got lots of like all kinds of little pieces. So what I'm going to do though, I'm going to show you, so you can build up your outside You know, on here, I just had chipboard and that's what I had. That's what I used. You know, I had a little clip here with a little sun. I may put a clip on here with a truck. I don't know yet. But I'm definitely going to cut, you know, some of these flowers and so forth. You know, I've got a beautiful tree here that I can put on the front here. The nice thing with these little mini elements is that they're the perfect size for this. Look at that. So I'll put that on the inside on another page. You love the trim? Me too. There's just something about this darn trim. Now I could put it that way and have this fluffy part just hanging over a little bit. Maybe that's what I'll do. My cats love this. They keep stealing it off my table, so I better use it. So I'm going to put that then on the outside. So on the inside now, we've got, you know, 2 pages here. We've got each of these that we can decorate. Just give them a good fold so that they'll open nicely for you. Now these pages, you know, the measurement is going to be 4.5, so we want 4 3/8, say. I have a white marker, a white gel pen. We had a white gel pen. 4 3/8, another one here. 4, at least on mine, 4 3/8 by 2 3/8. 4 3/8 by 2 3/8. 2 and, no, 4/8, 2 and, no, that's going to be too small. 2 1/2. 2 1/2. Sorry, so 2 1/2. So that's what I'm going to cut my pieces for here. For here, I could cut the same size. So what I'll do is I'll cut one and then see if what it looks like if I put it here. I think I need a piece bigger on here and the back. Now you could put a little pocket on there too if you want. You know, it's whatever floats your boat at this point. Oh gosh, I love that for the inside here. So I'm going to leave that. And I'm going to pick, this is going to go in here with this plaid, I think, so that they complement each other. Oh, I've got the red, so I can do the green. And here I can do a red trim and the fa la 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 la. Oh, I love that Santa. And then in here, let's put something else complimentary. I've got the Christmas trees. And I can put that wood in with the trees. I've got these gorgeous plaids still. Or I could put those in there. And then on the back here, I can do this plaid and the logs on the outside. On here, I just absolutely love this print, or I may use the print on both sides. You know, this is what happens when you've got too much beautiful paper to work with. No, I don't like that. I want something that's going to work nicely with this. And I'm thinking that that does. But I'm using that further back in here. No. I'm going to cut a piece off of here. I'm going to use this piece from the bottom here. All right, so I want that piece to be 4 3/8 by 2 1/2. So I need my 2 1/2 this way. 2 1/2. And then my 4 3/8 will be this way. So I've got that really pretty piece there. Now, if I use that piece on this side, you see it's not big enough. So on your ends, those pieces are going to be bigger, and they are going to be, you're going to want a good 5-inch, 5 by 2 1/2 probably. 2 1/2, 5 by 2 1/2. All right, so it needs to be a little bit longer. So let me do my 2 1/2. inch. So there's my 5 by 2.5 right in there. How pretty is that? And then I've got this beautiful little piece here. Okay. Ink your pieces up. I do have lots of chipboard. I've got so much I can add onto here. Oh, the last thing I want to show you is your tags on the inside. So you're going to pick your papers. You're going to cut them all. You can see you're not using a ton of paper. 2 different pieces of cardstock, and then I'm using, you know, you can just use like all these leftovers you have. So I'm going to put this piece down. So there are lots of rooms for photos that they can put on the inside of the little tags. There we go. So pretty. So, you know, you can cover the hinge, but you know what? It looks fine to me the way it is. So I'm going to have the same size paper on all of my toilet paper rolls. Oh, look at me switching glues midstream. Put that one down. So I will finish up this album, and then I'll do a little video so you guys can see it completed. But you're just going to do each page like that, and then you're going to decide, you know, what you have. If you've got chipboard, you know, I've got some really nice chipboard here that I can add in, you know, some pieces and then do some tucks underneath there. I also have rub-ons. I've got flowers, lots of rub-ons. You know, I can have a holly jolly Christmas. I mean, these are the words, but I've got the snowflakes. I've got lots of pieces left over that I can put on here, or, you know, more of the plain paper, put some of that on. The busier paper, use some stuff with elements. Okay, so now you want to cut tags to go inside here. And you can do it in, you know, you can use your printed papers if you want. You can use just plain. You can use a dotted paper. And then I have attached a little piece of ribbon to the ends of each one. So depending on what kind of tag you do, I mean, I have this punch here. I think we still have some in the store. And it does a 1.5, a 2, and a 2.5 inch punch. I think the ones we have are We Are Memory Keepers. And then I have like this one, you know, which is like the banner. So you can do any kind like that, or you can just do your own and trim off the top and bottom, oops, like this. Now my, The Works by We Are Memory Keepers has a tag thing on there that I can also use to create my tags. And that way both sides are even, because I never get them even. So this is 2.5 inches. So if I do a 2-inch one of this, that would fit quite nicely. So let me just take a scrap so I can show you what I mean. Okay, so I've taken a 2-inch piece and I put it in, because this will do 1.5, 2, or 2.5. Putting it in there, and I'm punching it, and I've got that nice piece at the top. All right, that will fit in there. Now, obviously, it's too long, so I'm going to trim it down. But it's the fastest way to make those tags. And now I can put any kind of ribbon on there because it's nice and wide. So I do have some other trims here that are fun. Most of my trims are at the store. No, that won't work, but I do see something else that will work. This will work beautifully, and I can use it on all of them if I wanted, or I could switch it up. But this should fit perfectly in that hole. and then I can have a nice piece. Now I stapled my pieces together. You can tie them in a knot, you can tie them in a bow, you can throw them over your shoulder. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so trim it off. I like to have it more of a rustic look, so I use a staple, you know, and then you can just put that in there, and away you go onto your next piece. And then you've got these tags that you pull out as well. You can put some flat elements on there. You can, if you're using plain paper, you can use some rub-ons on there, and that's maybe what I'll do is I will use a beige or a red in there, plain red. And then I will do that, tuck them in. Now I do like the size of this tag because it's not overly wide that it's getting stuck. It's got a little bit of wiggle room, so if I add stuff to it, you know, it's not going to matter. It's going to still fit beautifully. Okay, so that is all that there is to this. Just adding different elements. Now I will show you again the summer one I did. So this one I have a paper clip on the outside. You could put a little note on there. Chipboard pieces. You know, I put some chipboard on the ends. This one has taken a lot of abuse as well. So, you know, it's holding up pretty well. Cut out a piece, added it on there because I didn't have a lot of elements to work with. Whereas I'm really lucky with the evergreen. I've got a bunch. This here was a tag, and then I just put a button there. You can, you know, raise it up with a chipboard piece and then tuck a piece up and pull it down and have a photo on there. You know, some little chipboard pieces here, all through here. Okay, and here I did put a little pocket and another little tag to tuck in. And that is it. Easy breezy. So I've got all of this stuff all over my table now, so I will finish mine up and then I will post a live of it. My sleigh, you know, is sitting here. We will get that done this week as well, and then next week, Tuesday, we will do the vignette. I'm not going to have anything new to show on Sunday night, so I might do this on Sunday night. This stencil that I used, I didn't realize that I do have it in for the next auction. I have 8 of them, and it's beautiful. So if you have the sleigh, you can, you know, start prepping that and getting that ready. Oh, one more thing I wanted to show you. I am going to have some sessions where you can come in and you can create, because I have the better press plates for this with the calendar. You can book a time and pay for the paper and use my dies to create these calendars. And I will post them as well. But this is for 2025, and then they stand in a stand. Great gift to give to somebody. I've done it so that you don't have to buy the 2025 calendar, and actually, you know, you can use mine if you like, and come in and use all of these dies. And there will be a fee because you have to buy your paper to use and then make them up. So I will get that posted as well. My table is just filled with half-finished projects, and I'm starting to hyperventilate a little bit. So I'm going to get them finished up, cleared up. You know, tomorrow is Wednesday. I'm back in the store Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So the goal is always to try and get those things done on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday when I'm at home in the studio, but it doesn't always happen. So tomorrow will be a full busy day for me. Okay, so that is it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed doing that. I will come up with some more projects to work on, some small projects that we can do in the course of, you know, an hour, hour and a half, and just give you some things to play with and use up your leftovers. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good night, everybody. Stay safe and keep creating.